Part 20. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 191. Sci-fi, I'm waiting for you. Li Junlu was sitting in the living room. Yang Sisi didn't answer anything. Li Junlu said again, I haven't seen the banquet speech for so long since I entered the house. Where are the others? Yang Sisi, at the tutor's house. Li Junlu asked again, have you not already been admitted to university? You have to work harder to pass the exam. He is not the first. Li Junlu was unhappy with the rebuke and stopped talking. Waiting for Yang Sisi to prepare the fish and clean up the kitchen, he urged her again. Yang Sisi said impatiently, I know. She went out with Li Junlu. Passing through the door of the wedding and wedding shop, Li Junlu did not go in. Yang Sisi, didn't you come here to buy it? We bought the scriptures first. I heard that the things to be burned must match the scriptures so that people underground can receive them, Li Junlu said. Yang Sisi said, when you are alive, you have nothing. Who cares about this after you die? Hypocritical. But I would be happy to let you, a tough cock, spend more money. Half an hour later, Li Junlu arrived at his destination and signaled Yang Sisi to wait at the roadside. Yang Sisi looked at the sign of the public office, confused. Selling scriptures here? What kind of fame are you doing? She watched. Li Junlu persuaded the guard to invite Shen Yuxian out. Shen Yuxian recognized Li Junlu and also spotted Yang Sisi on the roadside. Thinking that Qin Yanjun and Li Junlu took over and did their ideological work, they brought Yang Sisi to recognize him. My heart is full of joy and excitement. But he didn't show it on his face, because he hated Li Junlu very much. If it's not because of Sci-fi. He has already dealt with the other party. Li Junlu met Shen Yuxian's eyes and was extremely nervous for a moment. He asked him to go aside where he could talk. Yes. Uncle Shen. Yang Sisi rushed forward to say hello, are you selling scriptures? Scripture? Yes, my mother passed away, and my father asked me to come here to buy scriptures. I didn't expect him to come to you. You don't look like someone who is short of money, so why are you selling scriptures secretly? Yang Sisi's impression of him became worse. In the home of cutting ice, no cattle or sheep are kept. He is already so rich, but he still competes with poor people for a small amount of profit. Who is it? Shen Yuxian was worried that she would misunderstand, so he explained, I don't sell scriptures. He said the word dad, obviously he is her dad. I don't know this person either. Li Junlu's train of thought was suddenly interrupted, and he heard Yang Sisi calling her uncle. It took him a long time to react. His brain twitched, and he said without any foreshadowing, you don't know me, but Yang Xian always knows me, right? He pushed Yang Sisi towards Shen Yuxian. Pushed, you let people see what you two look like. It doesn't matter to you. I'll twist your head off. The two of them were put together, and they didn't even need a drop of blood to test their relationship. Yang Sisi was caught off guard and hit Shen Yuxian. I was so annoyed that I couldn't hold myself steady. Just as he was about to get angry, he was stunned by Li Junlu's words. I made it clear today that you must give me an explanation for Yang Xian's mistake of taking me for granted, Li Junlu said. Seeing that he couldn't hide the matter anymore, Shen Yuxian simply retorted, when have you ever been taken advantage of? It was Xian you were pursuing, not her who took the initiative to find you. Xian spent all his savings to get the notice to return to the city for you, and you went to the city on the second day of your wedding and never came back. You didn't take care of Sisi for a day, but you used her everywhere. It is you who owe them, mother and daughter, not them who owe you. I did not come to you to answer, but you came to me instead. What a big joke. Li Junlu did not expect that Shen Yuxian had already investigated everything about him, and he did not know how to refute. Sci Shen Yuxian faced Sci, I am your father. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 192. Ying Cixi felt as if she had been struck by lightning, and the blood all over her body seemed to have solidified. He knew this already, right? That's why I took the initiative to approach her. It took her a while to find her voice. You're not. She turned around and ran away. Shen Yuxian had been prepared for her to deny him, but it was unpleasant to hear her refuse to acknowledge him so simply. He chased after her and stopped her. Cixi, I have been looking for your mother for so many years, but I don't know her. With you, I don't even know that she has already. At this point, his throat felt heavy. Ying Cixi couldn't listen to a word and just wanted to leave. The further away the better. I won't recognize you, don't follow me. She pushed him away and walked around the road. I don't know how far I have walked. Stop and then look back. Shen Yuxian was still following behind, keeping a distance from her. She couldn't help but feel resentful. Countless days and nights, she waited for her father to appear. Finally, Li Junle came, but it broke all her illusions about her father. She accepted it, but it turned out that she was not her biological child. This man jumped out again and said, he is her father, where has he gone? Sci Shen Yuxian approached again, everything is my fault, and I am willing to do everything I can to compensate you. Ying Cixi turned her eyes, with tears in her eyes, what can you compensate me for? Can you turn back time to the time when my mother was here? Can you make me as a child afford to read, eat well and wear warm clothes? Can you make decisions for me when I'm being called a wild child? Shen Yuxian's heart ached and his head hurt, and his voice trembled slightly as he spoke, it's my fault. It's useless no matter how much you apologize, because my mother can't accept it, and I don't want to accept it, Ying Cixi said and left. This time she didn't look back. Ying Cixi returned to the family home, not in the mood to do anything. My whole body was as cold as falling into an ice hole. She couldn't bear it anymore and went back to the house to rest. Slept in a hazy sleep. I dreamed that when I was a child, because I had no father or mother, whenever she had conflicts with other children, their parents would point at her, scold her for not having a tutor, and tell their own children not to play with her. After a while, I dreamed of my aunt again, scolding her harshly for killing my mother as soon as she was born. After her grandparents passed away, they occupied her house on the grounds that she was a girl and coaxed her to work like a cow or a horse. She couldn't bear it and went to her grandma. They took farm tools and beat her to grandma's house, saying that grandma was plotting something against her. Actually, they saw that she had grown up and became profitable, and they were afraid that she would run away. After a while, I dreamed that Li Junle came to her and cried out in tears that he had been owed to her for so many years. She thought she could finally stop being dependent on others and be homeless. Only when she entered the city did she realize that she would be working as a cow or a horse in a different place. She didn't think about resisting, but she had no place to go, so she could only endure it. She woke up when she dreamed of Shen Yuxian. He was sweating profusely. The surrounding environment is very unfamiliar, and there is a smell of disinfectant in the nose. When he raised his eyes, he found a hanging bottle hanging above his head, and his hands were tied with white tape. At this time the door was pushed open. Qin Yanxi's expression changed from expressionless to joyful. "Sci, you're awake." Ying Cixi opened her mouth, only to find that her voice was hoarse. "What's wrong with me? You have a high fever that didn't go away last night, so I sent you to the hospital. The doctor said you caught a cold. You have been hot and cold these days, so you don't need to wear more clothes." Qin Yanxi raised his hand to try hers. His forehead was cool and a little damp. "The fever is finally gone. Thank you for your hard work." Ying Cixi reached out and touched his face. There are bruises under his eyes. He must not have slept much last night. Qin Yanxi smiled, "Isn't it my duty to take care of you?" Please vote. No one voted for the monthly vote at the beginning of the month. Wow. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 193. Ying Ceci's heart gradually dissipated, and a smile appeared on her lips. Yeah. Are you hungry? Qin Yancy glanced at the drip. There was still half a bottle left, and it would take half an hour at the earliest. Would you like some wontons? Ying Ceci shook her head. I don't have much appetite. Qin Yancy poured water. Ying Ceci rinsed her mouth and drank half a cup. Her throat felt much better. She glanced at the sky outside the window. The sun was shining brightly. It was about noon, and she had slept for so long. After a moment, his eyes returned to Qin Yancy. "ACI, I want to tell you something." Yet Qin Yancy listened carefully. Ying Ceci thought hard for a long time. I have nothing to do with Li Yue, that Uncle Shen is. She could no longer pronounce her father's name. He said he has been looking for my mother and will try his best to make up for me in the future, but I hate him so much and I hate him so much. Qin Yancy's expression changed several times, but she still understood. He said. She won't want to admit it. He picked up his hand and wiped her tears gently. The teardrops seemed to have warmth and burned him. He suddenly became angry and risked his life and said, I will settle the score with him for you. He clenched his fists and was about to leave. ACI Ying Ceci got down from the bed in a hurry. Qin Yancy heard the sound on the bed, looked back and saw that the infusion tube on the bottle was shaking due to pulling, and hurriedly walked to her side and held her shoulders. Sit tight. Ying Ceci stood up suddenly and felt dizzy, but remained still and softly begged, don't go. Okay, I won't leave. The two were talking when there was a knock on the door outside. Qin Yancy said irritably, Who? The hospital is not mine. If you are sick, come in the next second. Shen Zhengrong appeared at the door, carrying large and small packages of gifts, and a bouquet of flowers in the creaking nest. "Si, I heard from Uncle Qin that you are sick. As my brother, I came to see you." The fire that Qin Yancy had finally restrained burned in his heart again. Don't mess with relatives. Leave your things behind and you can get out. Shen Zhengrong secretly thought, all 3-year-old children know that accepting gifts means forgiveness. It would be better for you to just put away the things and not do anything else, right? Who is it? He did not talk to unreasonable people and responded to Ceci. Ceci, are you feeling better? Your dad is also sick. He had a fever all night and it only went away this morning. Ying Ceci lowered her eyes, her face expressionless. That person said that he didn't know Shen Zhengrong. She foolishly believed it. She is so stupid. I don't understand what you are saying. Take the things away and I won't accept them. Si, don't be angry. My uncle really didn't leave you behind on purpose. He was injured at that time and was sent out for several major surgeries. If it weren't for our Shen family's natural ability to recover, he would have been in trouble. After I recovered, I only remembered the agreement I had with my aunt, but I forgot the details. Qin Yancy sneered, you really want to find someone, don't you know how to publish it in the newspaper? Shen Zhengrong took out the newspaper and said, I have published it. Because my memory is not comprehensive, I only left information about myself. At that time, I would receive a bunch of fakeids every 3 to 5. My uncle even picked a few girls to meet. Qin Yancy took a look at it and found that the diary published in the newspaper was several months after Ceci was born. At that time, my mother-in-law had already passed away. Who should I post it to? Stop talking and leave quickly. If you make my wife unhappy, I will disown her. Shen Zhengrong looked at Ying Ceci eagerly. He happened to see her tears falling on the quilt, and he couldn't bear it. Okay, I'll just leave. Sissy, take good care of yourself. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 194. Qin Yanxi closed the door and locked it, and wiped his tears for Ying Sisi in distress. Even if they have reasons and we don't want to forgive, we still don't have to forgive. Ying Sisi let out a choked hum. At this time there was another knock on the door. Qin Yanxi thought Shen Zhengrong was back again. You deserve a beating, right? He lost his temper and opened the door aggressively. There was a girl and an ant standing in front of me. The girl held up the bottle, and the ant stretched her hand down. The two of them were so frightened by Qin Yanxi that they turned around and wanted to leave. Qin Yan resigned and coughed twice. I'm sorry, I got the wrong person. Please come in. He returned and sat down. Ying Sisi smiled through her tears and said, change your temper. Qin Yanxi thought that he was much better than before, but he still promised, yes, definitely. Ying Sisi finished hanging the water, took 3 more medicines, and left with Qin Yan to go home. My stomach growled halfway through. Hearing the sound, Qin Yanxi stopped to look for the gift from Shen Zhengrong. After a while, he became angry again. It's either bird's nest, oatmeal powder, or lotus root powder. Even if you give me anything, it won't be on point. Then you still accept it? If you don't accept it, you won't accept it. This is what they owe you in Qin Yanxi's concept. You don't take what your parents give you, but others take it. And they will also say, you do not want what is given to you. Don't go out and say I won't give it. Instead of taking advantage of others, it is better to reward yourself. Ying Sisi does not support or oppose it. Passing by a wonton shop, Qin Yanxi led her in and ordered 2 large portions of wontons. She only ate half the bowl. ACI, I can't eat any more. I'll give it to you. Eat so much, Qin Yanxi asked worriedly, is there anything else that makes you feel uncomfortable? It's a bit unappetizing. Ying Sisi really wanted to eat fried rolls stuffed with carrots and soft tofu, but unfortunately there were no carrots this season. Whatever you want to eat, I'll buy it for you again, Qin Yanxi said. Ying Sisi was reluctant to torment him. I will tell you when I remember. Okay. When the two returned home, Ying Si went into the room and lay down. She felt cold and sweaty, so she asked Qin Yanxi to boil water for her to take a bath. She had just stepped into the bathtub and soaked for less than 5 minutes when voices came from outside. Bansi, how is Sisi doing? Qin Yanxi asked. No matter what, why did you tell the Shen family about Sisi's illness? His family asked someone to come over and inquire. I know you can't hide it, right? Qin Yanjun looked around and said, where's Sisi? Your mother stewed chicken soup for her. I bought her favorite snacks. There are also snacks here. There are some supplements. If you don't know how to stew them, I'll ask your mother to come over and stew them at night. Now that I know she is the eldest lady of the Shen family, I start to be attentive to her. Qin Yanjun, who are you talking about? I will tell whoever is right. Qin Yanjun, brat. For the sake of you being a college student, I will bear it. I was not attentive. From the beginning, I treated Sisi as my own daughter. Don't talk nonsense here, no one in their right mind will believe this. Qin Yanjun, you came here specifically to tear me down, right? Do you think I was the one who planned the Shen family's recognition of Sisi? This matter has nothing to do with me. Qin Yanxi's expression turned cold. It's not you, is it me? Ying Sisi didn't want her father and son to quarrel over her matter, so she held her breath and said, ACI, it was Yue's father who said it. It has nothing to do with our father. She had seen through Li Junlu's face. Not just using her for his own benefit. I also wanted to threaten that person with this matter. Simply shameless. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 195. Did you hear that? Fortunately, SISI proved my innocence. Qin Yanxi, how did her father know? Qin Yanjun felt guilty. It's not what I said anyway. You should take good care of Sisi. He left. If he stayed any longer, he was worried that his silly son would ask him to swear that he had nothing to do with it. After Yang Sisi took a bath, she felt relaxed all over. Changed into clean clothes, wrapped her hair in a towel and came to the living room. Qin Yanxi pointed to the chicken soup. Do you want to drink it? It's still hot. Drink something. Yang Sisi had an appetite and sat down at the dining table. Qin Yanxi served her a bowl of soup. There was a pinch of green onions floating in the white soup. It looked delicious. She took a sip and it was fresh and fragrant. She said, "Mom is a better cook than me. I don't know what ingredients were used to make the soup so white, like fish soup. I will learn how to cook it for you later. We'll talk about it after you recover. I'm almost done. ACI, are you tired? Just rest and don't worry about me." Qin Yanxi, together. I feel energetic after taking a bath. Yang Sisi turned on the TV and turned down the volume. Qin Yanxi was indeed a little tired. Call me if you need anything. Good. After Qin Yan resigned and returned to her room, Yang Sisi continued to watch TV. When the episode ended, she pressed the switch and went out, walking aimlessly along the street. Unknowingly, I walked to Li's house. The door painted with red paint was closed, and in a daze, it gave off a somewhat strange feeling. "Sisi, are you going back to your parents' home when you have time on the weekend?" Aunt Lu, a neighbor, greeted her warmly and pulled Yang Sisi towards her home. "Come and sit at my house." "I didn't bring anything with me today." Yang Sisi looked slightly embarrassed. "It's embarrassing to be empty-handed." "Hey, why are you being polite to me?" Aunt Lu looked at the door and whispered, "Are you coming back to discuss your sister's pregnancy?" "Pregnant? When did it happen?" Yang Sisi's pupils trembled slightly. "Li Yue also worked hard to marry Feng Shuangzi as soon as possible. Aren't you afraid of being criticized if you get pregnant out of wedlock? Or do you mean you don't care about worldly views? You don't know." This morning, the news spread among the neighbors, Aunt Lu said. Yang Sisi quickly calmed down. It had nothing to do with her. Aunt Lu continued to talk about Li Yue. She just listened. She didn't say goodbye until Aunt Lu said she was going to make dinner. Passing through the long street, he met Song Hanmei Ying, who was holding a vegetable basket. When he saw her, he mocked her openly and secretly. Some women are clever with their words and shameless, and they deserve to die early because they take advantage of other people's blood and put their blame on innocent people's heads. Yang Sisi hit him with a fist. He had just recovered from his illness and was not able to perform at his normal level. He only hit Song Hanmei, who staggered a step. Oh, my eyes. Come and see, Yang Sisi is beating her stepmother. Even if they don't interact with each other, some neighbors still know each other. They know the relationship between Yang Sisi and Song Hanmei. Some people laugh at it, while others criticize it. No matter how you are an elder, you shouldn't take action as a junior, right? What does this look like? As expected, he is from the countryside and has no quality. A daughter-in-law like this is out of luck when her husband's family stalls. Song Hanmei is ready to tell everyone the fact that Yang Sisi is not Li Junlu's biological child. Let everyone help scold Yang Sisi's mother. Listen to what you mean. Someone cursed that your mother deserved to die early, and you still want to applaud. Well, if your mother is not dead, I will curse her to die early and take care of her. If you are dead, you deserve to have no mother's pain and love. Just now. Whoever accuses me, this is for me. Yang Sisi ran away after scolding. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 196. Song Hanmi's job as a spearman is extremely popular. Ask Song Hanmi to give an explanation. Song Hanmi was stunned, and after a while she said, "She has nothing to do with us now. Her mother is an old who stole life behind Lao Li's back. I don't care who her mother stole her from. She was brought back by your old Li, so you have to give me an explanation." "Yes, we helped you and got a lot of trouble, there's no reason for that." Song Hanmi was stupid again. Yang Sisi deserves to be damned, her mouth is poisonous and her heart is even more poisonous. Just like that bitch, he didn't die cleanly and left behind such a scourge. Made one's own house restless. Yang Sisi ran for a long time before she calmed down. Looking back on the experience of these 2 days, it was like a dream. It's time to wake up from the dream. As Grandma said, live a happy day and live an unhappy day the same. Always living with a negative attitude not only consumes your own will, but also makes those who care about you sad. Having endured such hard times when I was a child, I shouldn't take advantage of others when I am enjoying happiness. She needs to cheer up. After thinking about it, she walked home briskly. Approaching the family courtyard, Shen Yuxian's figure appeared in the field of vision. He is inherently white. At this moment, it was even more bloodless. Sisi. Yang Sisi's heart, which had just healed, appeared cracked again, and tears fell uncontrollably. Obviously Li Junlu treated her like that, but she was not so sad. Why did she become angry and hateful when the target was him? She pushed back her tears and glanced at him. "What are you doing here? I heard you were sick. Let's take a look at you." "I've seen it, I'm fine, you can go." Shen Yuxian was silent for a long time and nodded, "I'll watch you go in. I don't mind you seeing it." Shen Yuxian felt helpless and heartbroken. "Okay, I'll go." Yang Sisi hid behind the wall of the guard's office to avoid his gaze, and listened with open ears. She hadn't heard his footsteps for a long time, and she raised her head angrily. The person at the door was no longer there. She asked the doorman, "When did that person leave just now?" "When you hide behind a wall." Yang Sisi pursed her lips. So was he following him? It's just that she didn't notice it. But even so, she will not forgive him. She returned home in a renewed mood, while Qin Yanci wore an apron and cut vegetables. Yang Sisi felt warm and warm. When she was sad, it was so nice to have someone to accompany her and take care of her. She stepped forward and put her arms around his waist and said coquettishly, "ACI." Qin Yanci whispered, "There is someone at home." Yang Si turned her head and saw her mother-in-law looking at her from the balcony. She immediately let go. Moved aside helplessly. "Si, please be more reserved. You can close the door at night and do whatever you want. In broad daylight, you are like this. Hey. Fortunately, you have good control over the banquet speech. Otherwise, forget it, don't talk about this. Your dad said you are sick, so you asked me to come over and cook for you, and you asked me to wash your clothes. You have just finished your work, and you have a lot of time to play. You can't be a wife like this." Why didn't she see that this girl was outrageous in the first place? Now my intestines are almost turning green. Qin Yanci, my daughter-in-law does almost all the housework on weekdays. Can't she take a break when she's sick? If you don't want to wash, just say so. If you wash and complain, I won't remember you for your hard work. Mother of Qin choked. Yang Sisi said, "Mom, let me pour you a cup of tea." Mother of Qin came down the ste flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 197. Ying Sisi, aren't you going to eat here? Go back and eat, Chin's mother said. You give it to me. She had to give her daughter-in-law eye drops. How can a daughter-in-law go out to play while a man is at home to take care of her? Is it true? Ying Sisi said obediently, and followed her out. Chin Yancy, Mom, bullying my wife is equivalent to bullying me. The sound of mother made Mother Chin's mood change from cloudy to clear. Hey, I am Sisi's daughter, how can I bully her? Because of Chin Yancy's instructions, Chin's mother finally stopped talking to Sisi and took the initiative to talk about Lu Yuechun. Your sister-in-law did something wrong and did not repent, so she stayed at her parents' house. Your father hired a new aunt to take care of the fourth child. Although there are 2 other aunts watching over me at home, but I can't completely rest assured. I'm planning to retire soon. If you have time, go home and help keep an eye on that person. Ying Sisi agreed. After going downstairs, Chin's mother said, just come here. Okay. Ying Sisi watched Chin's mother go away, then turned back into the house and complained, you didn't say a word when Mom came. She wouldn't tell people I hugged you, would she? How will I see anyone in the future? Chin Yancy laughed softly, she can't possibly say that. Ying Sisi was so depressed that she sat at the dining table and ate the cake sent by Father Chin. Chin Yancy glanced at it and said, yesterday I met a stamp dealer on the road and asked me if I had any better quality stamps. The price has increased recently, so it's a good time to sell them. I want to pick a few more of your stamps. Is that okay? Okay. When it came to buying and selling, Ying Sisi was instantly happy, with a hint of curiosity in her tone. You haven't been back to Yanjing in 10 years, how do you know where the stamps and copper coins are traded? Is it because you haven't exchanged them in 10 years, or is it? Did you find it yourself? For her, it might be several months later. In the early years, my family's financial situation was difficult. Lao Chin sold the calligraphy and paintings left by his ancestors. I followed him and met 2 people. This is the first time I heard that calligraphy and painting were passed down from my ancestors. Are you smart? Chin Yancy laughed loudly, and his dark eyes were also smiling. Can wisdom be passed down from ancestors? Isn't it possible? Okay. Chin Yancy suddenly thought of her. Lao Chin said that the Shen family was born with great strength and excellent hearing. He relied on these 2 points and her similar appearance to Shen Yuxian to identify her. So Lu Yuechun's 2 cousins were indeed beaten to disability by her that day, and they would not beat her in the future, right? After dinner, Ying Sisi opened the package and looked for stamps. When I caught a glimpse of the comb and badge, my heart suddenly became clogged. Throwing it out, the 2 things made a muffled sound when they landed on the ground. She took out the stamp book and glanced to the side. The 2 things were lying quietly, as if silently complaining about her grievances. She ran over to pick them up and put them away. Then he went out and waited for Chin Yancy to finish his housework and said, ACI, look at which ones you want. Look through the pages of Chin Yancy. He picked out 3 unique copies of the late Qing dynasty and said, if these are sold, plus my savings, it will probably be enough to buy a house with a small courtyard. Let the guy not find it. Change a house? Isn't it nice to live here? It's also safe. There are guards at the door, working shifts 24 hours a day. How nice. Ying Sisi didn't agree to change. She had already bought one and didn't need it anymore. Chin Yancy didn't know what to say and was silent for a while. Rent it out to make money. Ying Sisi thought, a room costs 700 yuan, but a yard can cost several thousand. The monthly rent for a small house is 3 or 4 yuan, and the big one is 10 yuan. 15. Received the year of the monkey and the moon of the horse. At first glance, it seemed that he was not a business person, but it would be disrespectful to refuse him directly. He said in a soft voice, ACI, can we take time to discuss this matter next time? Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 198. Yet Qin Yanxi also understood that it was unrealistic for them to spend a large amount of money to buy a house in their current situation. Yang Sisi put away the stamp book and went back to the house to study Journey to the West. Before going to bed, Qin Yanxi approached her. I read this every day, is there anything I don't understand? You seem to understand. Have you read it? Do you know why the female temptress in the book always wants to marry Tang Seng? After living for hundreds of thousands of years, I have never seen such a beautiful man. He rushes to marry a monk. No, be realistic. The description of the male goblin is very realistic. He comes directly to grab the magic weapon or chooses to eat the immortality. The corners of Qin Yanxi's lips deepened. Are you being naive? Have you read Strange Tales from a Chinese Studio? The female ghost or goblin above spends a night with the scholar, and the scholar will turn black. Do you think he really loves Tang monk? Is it actually the same as eating him, but in a different way? Yang Sisi had never seen the Strange Tales from a Chinese Studio he talked about, so she didn't understand it very well. Blinking his eyes, how to eat? Please tell me in detail. Qin Yanxi's eyes were dark. I'll teach you. Yang Sisi immediately understood what he meant and said politely, my body is still recovering. Qin Yanxi restrained himself slightly, retracted the letter and said, go to rest early. Yang Sisi looked at the book that had been taken away with some reluctance. She was just reading the highlight. Go to bed early the night before. Yang Sisi woke up when the morning light first appeared. She was the only one left in the room. There was a message from Qin Yanxi on the bedside table. Daughter-in-law, I may come back late today, so don't wait for me, go to bed early. Yang Sisi took his message and found his original comparison. The punctuation marks turned into dots again. She plans to observe some other differences, and then find a reliable doctor to ask whether such symptoms will affect his life and whether he will inherit it from his children. She hid the two messages, brushed her teeth, washed her face, and dressed neatly to go out. I found a noodle shop and ordered Yang Chun noodles. After I was full, I walked towards the black market, intending to buy cloth to make a thin coat for my grandma. In the distance, Shen Zhengrong and Shen's aunt Shen Ru followed. That's Sisi. He does look like your brother-in-law. No wonder he has to admit it. He is his biological son at first glance. Unfortunately, he recognized her too quickly, which gave him the confidence to take Xiao. With the status of our Shen family, how many girls want to cling to her? If it were me, I would just let her know that I am her father, have power and status, and wait for her to acknowledge her ancestors. You are just showing off and looking down on others. What does it mean to show off blindly? It's just a show of strength. We are all women, and I know exactly what she wants. She just wants more compensation and care, especially for someone like her who has never received it. Her desire for family affection exceeds yours. Imagine. But the more you want to get closer, the less she will cherish you and the more she will try to torment you. Shen Zhengrong rolled his eyes, it's all you can do. Of course, you'll see what I'm saying later, I have to ask her to follow us back to Shen's house. Don't mess around. Yang Sisi entered the black market and spotted a dark corduroy fabric. Ask about the price. 7 cents and 1 meter. Yang Sisi compared the price of 85 cents plus cloth tickets in the mall and found it was much cheaper, costing 6 meters. Shen Ru said, isn't the Qin family's condition pretty good? Why does she go to the black market to buy things? She's not afraid of being caught. Shen Zhengrong curled his lip. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash Marriage of the Era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 199. ACI has one root, and she has one root. She ate and walked out. Your brother-in-law can't even eat. It's better for her to be in the mood to visit the black market and eat Shen Ru said with dissatisfaction. Shen Zhengrong couldn't help but help, you can blame Sisi for this. According to you, my aunt lost her life trying to continue the legacy of our Shen family. Who should be blamed? Shen Ru choked. At this time a roar came. Smelly bitch, stop for me. Yang Sisi turned around and saw that it was the short man whom Hu Niu had bullied. He led two young men to rush towards her and quickly surrounded her. I have finally guarded you. Last time I smashed my head. What do the three of us think of you this time? If you are wise, kneel down and serve us, otherwise we want you to look good. Yang Sisi ate the candied haws in a leisurely manner. I'm in a bad mood today. I want to leave quickly if I don't want to die. You are in a bad mood, and I am in an even worse mood, brothers, let's hold this down together. The two people's eyes were already shining. This is the first time I have seen such a beautiful girl in my life. At first I didn't understand what red lips and white teeth meant. I saw it now. I immediately held Sic's arm. Yang Sisi poked one of the people in the eye with a candied haws. It was tilted and missed, and hit the opponent's forehead. This was enough to make the other person cover his head in pain. She got a chance to breathe and poked the other person in the same way, but the other person dodged. She immediately dropped everything in her hands, locked her arms around his neck and dragged him back. His face was twisted and he begged for help, help, help. The little man came back to his senses and stepped forward to kick Yang Sisi with the one who was poked in the head. Yang Sisi controlled the person in front of him to act as a shield. Ouch! The shield was kicked and his stomach hurt and he fainted. One fell down. With two remaining, Yang Sisi took the initiative to knock them down. Finally, I got on top of the little man and punched him in the face with my fist. I have said that I am not in a good mood, but you still come to mess with me, and you still come to mess with me. How dare you come back next time? Don't dare, do you still dare? Help, help, kill. Didn't you make sure that no one would do anything here? No one would know if I killed you here. Yang Sisi was tired of beating her, so she rubbed the other person's nosebleed on her hand against him. Then he stood up to pick up something. Seeing that the candied haws couldn't be eaten, he walked to the person with the least injury, inserted his fingers into the other person's hair, tightened his strength, and pulled the other person's scalp. You idiot, you didn't run away. You only have 1 minute. I'll give your aunt 2 bunches of candied haws in return, or she'll beat you to death. The other person was so frightened that he cried. Yang Sisi touched his pocket and found it was empty. She slapped him with her backhand and said, "You are a thief. You have no money and don't think of ways to make money. You come out to bully the weak. Don't let me see you again next time." She took off the coats of the 3 of them and left. Walking to the overpass, I dropped into the homeless shelter under the bridge. Just then walked home. There were few people on the road. She noticed someone following her and thought it was Shen Yushan. She turned around to look around and recognized Shen Zhengrong in the distance with her figure. There was a woman following her, both wearing masks and looking sneaky. She stood there waiting for them. Shen Zhengrong knew that he had been discovered and simply stepped forward. "Si, are you feeling well? It's Grandma's death anniversary today, and the whole family will come over and have a meal together. What does it have to do with me?" "Why doesn't it matter?" Shen Ru took off her mask, revealing eyebrows similar to Shen Yushan's. "I'm your aunt, and I'm the same as your father." Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 200. Yang Sisi showed a self-deprecating smile. "It turns out that I have so many relatives." Shen Zhengrong nodded wildly. You have an eldest uncle and a second uncle. I am from your second uncle's family. We also have 2 cousins above us. Everyone in the family is looking forward to your return. It was not easy to find my brother-in-law. Ying Sisi interrupted, so many of you know that he has someone in Yunhee, but you say he can't find it. I don't believe that his partner never sent photos to his home. It's just that you don't like girls from the countryside and deliberately took advantage of his amnesia. He hid it, thinking it was alright, but he didn't expect it. SISI, let the past go by, okay. People have to look forward. Shen Ru lectured as if she had been through it. Why don't you let me finish? Did you collect his photo? What are you talking about? Shen Ru put her hands in her pockets and scolded her with a cold face. The end is a high and mighty attitude. Ying Sisi was surprisingly calm in her heart. Why are you anxious? What's wrong with what I said? Or did I tell you that you feel guilty? Just like her on a blind date. Even without even meeting Qin Yanci, her parents-in-law already knew her details. Not to mention the person you are with. As soon as the parents hear about it, they are not allowed to immediately ask where the girl lives, what is her name, and how many people are there in the family. Who is guilty? I am your elder. Do you speak like this? Do you have a tutor? Sister-in-law Shen Zhengrong was anxious and stopped him. What are you doing? I have to teach her a few words for your brother-in-law today. Shen Ru rolled up her sleeves. Ying Sisi was not afraid at all. I don't have a tutor, and you surnamed Shen didn't harm me. You still educate me. What qualifications do you have? You are following me like a thief. You are shameless. Snap. Shen Ru slapped Sic's face. Shen Zhengrong was stunned. The air suddenly became quiet. Ying Sisi threw something and fought with her. Shen Ru may have practiced and skillfully avoided Ying Sisi's attacks. Ying Sisi became more and more courageous as she was frustrated, tearing at each other like crazy. Old woman, I will not stop until I die today. Shen Zhengrong couldn't put his hand in and said anxiously, sister-in-law. She just happened to be sick. Oh my god, how can I explain it to my uncle? Ying Sisi finally got the person under her and held down the other person's hands with both hands. Raised his head and hit the opponent's head with all his strength. Shen Ru felt like there were stars in her eyes. It's amazing, so majestic. Shen Zhengrong wants to start a fight. Ying Sisi jumped up and pinched his neck. I'll fight with your surname Shen. Shen Zhengrong was choked until she coughed, and Shen Ru pulled her from behind. Ying Sisi raised her foot and crushed his toes. The two of them coughed and screamed. Passers-by quickly gathered around to watch the excitement. The people from the patrol passed by and separated the people. Ying Sisi was worried that being taken into the office would alarm Qin Yanjun and cause him to lose face, so she simply ran away. The men from the patrol followed behind. Ying Sisi got into the alley and took advantage of the terrain to escape people and escape home. After closing the door, all the strength in his body seemed to be drained. He squatted on the ground and rested for a long time before he regained his strength. He felt even more disgusted with the Shen family. After the patrol chased Ying Sisi and left. Shen Ru rubbed her head and cursed, what a girl. She comes from a remote country and can't tell the difference between a king and a king. That's enough. You said you were going to help, but you ended up causing trouble. Are you afraid that your uncle will have a relative? Shen Zhengrong said in a furious tone, leaving Shen Ru behind and strode away. Shen Ru chased after him. I really don't know why you are so anxious. A girl from the countryside will naturally go back to recognize her father if she suffers some hardships outside. In her opinion, children from poor families are the easiest to manipulate. Because they are materially poor and ideologically backward. Born to yearn for wealth and glory. Please vote.